Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Clash of Kings, chapters 4, 5, and 6. Bran, Arya, and a crowd favorite, Jon.
Oh my gosh.
In these chapters, ow!
Ow!
That was barely a howl. What were you doing?
Okay, fine. Ow! I think that was even worse.
It was so much worse. In this episode, we howl because we don't want to talk. All right.
A sound is worth 1,000 words.
I guess.
Instead of pictures.
Words are also just sounds.
No, it's okay.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We are recording after a hiatus, another hiatus of like almost 2 months, so more than a month for sure.
A month and a week. I would not call that 2 months.
All right, a bit. So pat on the back to us for making it. We hope you're enjoying the coverage of this new book. Hopefully I will have another episode edited in time. Okay, we're gonna stress about that later. So, these chapters, what'd you think?
It was nice. It was nice to just, read Game of Thrones again, but...
You mean A Clash of Kings?
Game of Thrones is the series.
No, it is not. It's A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, wait, yeah. Yes. Fine, to read Clash of Kings.
A Clash of Kings, actually.
Okay, miss. So, what was I saying? I lost my thought. Oh, it was good. It was good to read, but definitely a little bit slow, but good to read.
Well, these are the starting chapters, other than Arya, who's already had 2 chapters in the first 6 chapters.
Yes, Arya is the new Ned.
What does that tell you about Arya's potential?
No, don't die. I will riot if Arya dies.
Okay. Well, everybody, look forward to that. So, we do a summary thing, right?
Yes.
I should probably use a timer. Hold on. That was a pop socket. Throwback to too many years ago.
Yeah. Middle school for me. Well, not middle school.
Okay, alright. Don't age yourself there. What's the opposite of aging yourself?
I don't know.
Don't child yourself. Alright, okay. Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Bran's like, ugh, I can't go anywhere, I hate this. And then he's like, I'm gonna howl like a wolf, because my wolf's over there, because of the stupid phrase. So then he howls like a wolf, and then he's like, well, I have too many dreams, and they're like, here's something to not make you dream, and then he still has a dream where he's a wolf, and he's like, oh, what else happens?
Well, you can switch to Arya.
Okay, cool. So, Arya, they're at an inn, and Arya's talking to the prisoners, and, they're getting into it, and then, what's his name? Gendry's like, dude, stop. Use your brain. And then the gold cloaks show up, and they're like, Arya's like, they're here for me, and Gendry's like, actually. Then they find out that they're actually here for Gendry, and they're like, what the F? And then Yoren chases them away, and he's like, yo, and he has a few good comebacks that I really enjoyed in this section. And they're like, we better hurry before they catch up to us again, because the queen wants Jon. So it's the day before the ranging starts, and he's with Sam, and Sam has to find maps, and then he goes to Mormont, and he's like, hey bro, he's like, this is all the maps he found, and then we find out more about Mace Drayman and his family, and we find out, like, the hierarchy of the Targaryens and stuff, and then he's like, yo, are you gonna leave like you left before? And he's like, ugh, I'll stick it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty much exactly a minute and a half. Well done.
Yay.
I think it helps reading the chapters right before.
Oh yeah, I remember everything right now.
Okay, well, you'll have to be the person that remembers today. Okay, let's get into it then. So Bran's a howling. That's basically most of his chapter. No, there's more things. He's like sitting in his room and he feels like he's a prisoner in the cell in the prison that is Winterfell, and I'm like, yes, that is true, because these medieval people, they don't be thinking about accessibility. Most modern people don't be thinking about accessibility either. But yeah, I wish Bran had a way to get around without like having to rely on other people, because that is a pain in the ass. And he's like feeling real depressed, and he's not sleeping well because he gets all these wolf dreams and dreams of trees and things. Oh, he I don't know what that was. Bran is like, okay, so these wolves are howling. They're cool. I like them, so I'm gonna start howling. And it's basically like I'm talking to them,
Yeah.
And he's like, I can almost understand them. It's like they're talking in a language that I used to know but don't anymore. And it's kind of like a cool comparison. So I like that. You wanna...
Yeah. Oh, I enjoyed, like, at the beginning when... So, Bran's, like, the prince now, since, Robb is a king.
He's Robb's heir, yeah.
Yeah, so he's, like, a prince, and I enjoyed, he was like, yeah, Nan does not call me a prince. And I was like, yes, that's good. These people need to stop being pampered. I was like, finally somebody sensible around here.
Just like, I changed your goddamn
diapers. You ain't a fucking
you ain't
prince.
No prince.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yes, good job. You used your brain. And then, I don't know, I found it was interesting to kind of see the comparison, like, when Bran had his, like, first dream, and he could, like, fly, so it's kind of like, he, like, embodied this animal that could fly, and now in his dreams, like, he can embody, like, other living things. So it's this, like...
Wolves, specific. Oh, and trees, yeah. You're right.
So...
Trees are living things.
Yes. So he has this, like, cool connection where, like, he's like, I'm experiencing this, like, in real time. Very trippy, but interesting. We'll see how that goes.
And he's, like, investigating what the wolves might be howling about. He's like, oh, they miss their family, because he misses his family. Yeah. And, like, somebody's like, oh no, they just want to be free. Another dude's like, they just want to hunt. And Maester Luwin's like, oh, they're just howling at the comet.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it switches to Bran investigating what the comet means.
Yeah.
And he gets a bunch of different answers. So Osha is like, it means blood and fire, and nothing sweet. Very close to the Targaryen words of fire and blood.
Oh my gosh! I read that phrase and I was like, where have I heard that before? And I couldn't pinpoint why I knew that phrase.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's the Targaryen words. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And the Septon's like, it's the sword that slays the season. I don't know.
It's weird, like, in all these chapters, that underlying thing of them all being like, this is what the comet means, this is what the comet means. Yeah. And they all just relate it to themselves. I'm like, y'all, there's more people than you
That's
out there.
what humans do. We make everything about ourselves.
Yeah, very true.
Except old Nan, who's like, it means dragons. And she can't even see the comet. Yeah. She can smell it, though, somehow.
Oh my gosh. Dang, old Nan.
And as we know, that is true.
Yeah, there are dragons.
Like, yeah, exactly.
And they're somehow related to the comet because they showed up at the same time, so...
Yeah.
And then he's kind of like, ugh. So then Maester Luwin comes in, and he's like, yo, go play with the Freys. And then he kind of tells us why he doesn't like them, and he explains.
And we learned that the wolves have been confined to the Godswood, because Shaggy Dog bit Little Walder, because he was being an asshole. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so it's just Bran, like, sitting there thinking, howling, until people are like, ugh, stop that now.
Yep. They're like, it's night, shut up.
Yeah, and we learned that the wolves have been just like constantly howling, so nobody's getting enough sleep. Everybody's cranky, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Maester Lewin comes in and he's like, okay, dude, you gotta stop. Like,
yeah.
just do. And he's like, go to bed. And Bran's like, no, I don't want to go to bed. I have dreams of trees. And Maester Lewin's like, trees don't dream. And Bran's like, yeah, well, I dreamt of a tree, and I was like a tree.
So trees
and
dream.
It was like the... yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he says he has wolf dreams, and while he's having those dreams, he has stronger smells, and he can, like, taste blood, and it's kind of interesting and creepy.
Yeah, definitely. And he, like, literally thinks and acts as that thing that he thinks he is.
Yeah. And when Maester Lewin's like, go hang out with the kids, he's like, I hate the kids. I commanded you to send them away. Because, like, Bran is such not a kid to, like, do anything like that. But, like, you know how bad the situation is that he, like, tried to command for them to be sent away.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, can't you do this one thing for me? Oh my gosh. And then they're like, okay, you have dreams. Here's a potion to make you not dream. And
Bran, wait, before that even, Bran's like, we should put the Walders in the God's Wood instead of confining the wolves there. And I'm for that notion, by the way. I second that.
Yeah. The thing about the Walders is I love that they're so obsessed with their lineage. They're like, oh, I don't care about them. They're behind me. Oh, this person's in front of me. I'm like, y'all, there's like 1 million of you. Like, stop counting.
All they seem to care about.
Yeah.
And even the game they play, the Lord of the Crossing. Yeah. It's such a fray game.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, it's all about, like, trying to trick the other person.
Literally.
And betraying or, like, trying to not make true vows by saying mayhaps, which is basically Simon Says.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so for that game, it said, like, oh, it's like binding unless you say mayhaps. Is that like external to the game?
Oh no, it's binding within the game because they're not actually lords.
Gotcha. I was like, what are you? I just assumed it was like, you know, pinky promise. So people are like, oh, you can't break a pinky promise. You know what I mean? I thought it was like that equivalent.
Yeah, it's like within the game, they have to hold their vows unless they say mayhaps.
Gotcha, wow.
And I'm like, mayhaps is such a, like, strange, well, maybe not to them. Yeah. Mayhaps not to them. But, like, if somebody were like, mayhaps I will, I'd be like, I call you on your bullshit, you know? Like, how are they supposed to get away with it?
Yeah, that's true.
But, like, while playing this game was when Little Walder, who is actually the older... No, wait. Hold on. Backwards. Okay, so Little and Big Walder refer to their age. Big Walder is like 52 days older. But in reality, Little Walder is like much taller and just like a bigger person. Mm-hmm. And Big Walder is skinny and just like short.
Yeah.
It's confusing. Why would you... But yeah.
Yeah.
And the dude's, like, really proud. I'm 52 days older. And the other dude's like, yeah, well, I'm ahead in the line of succession from you.
Oh my gosh, you know? Yeah.
It's all... Yeah. And, oh my god, and they're explaining how, like, there's a bazillion Walders. And what is this? Oh, we have our own names at Winterfell, Rickon told them hotly when he heard that.
That was so cute.
Like 4-year-old. I just love that.
I know, that was so cute.
Because they're all named after Walder.
Yeah.
It's, dude, get a name.
Oh my gosh.
And speaking of names, there's some other kids at Winterfell who play, and one of them is Fat Tom's kid, who is Tom 2. Not like Tom the Second. Like, he's Tom 2. Like,
I know.
Like, what?
Yeah, these people's naming skills are interesting.
Well, the Tom too seems to be like a nickname, but still, like the fact that it's like it's not Little Tom or like Tom Jr., it's Tom 2 with 2 O's.
Yeah.
So that's the Walders are terrible, and Bran doesn't like them, but Rickon, who didn't initially like them, likes them more now, ever since they've like shown their, dangerous ways.
Yeah. He's like, wow, y'all are fierce. Now I like you.
Yeah. And like Rickon's so buddy with them. He's been showing them around the castle, and he like takes them down to the crypts where Ned's like tomb is being carved or whatever. And Bran gets real mad at that. He's like, that's our place, a Stark place. How dare you take them there? And I was like, yeah, that does seem a little
Yeah, like
it's like a sacred place,
Yeah. Like, hey, here's where my dead dad is.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Except they probably don't even have his bones. Okay. That's a thought for another time. Yeah, it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
And then we get to Osha being like, you should dream. Just let them dreams dream.
Yeah. She's like, don't fight it. And then he's like, okay, but I'm about to go to sleep. Bye.
Yeah. And she's like, it might be that God's trying to talk back to you. Just hang in there. But he's like looking forward to a dreamless sleep, which he does not get.
Instead, he gets a lucid dream where he is a wolf and he's in the Godswood.
He's like, oh my gosh, I'm walking. And then he's like, he's got 4 legs. And it's like he's dreaming of being Summer, because he talks about his crazy brother who won't stop howling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's just like going around the Godswood, like having these very wolfy thoughts. He's like, those man stones over there, the man cliffs,
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And the chapter ends with, the true world was calling, and he knew he must answer or die. Dun dun dun.
So he's like trapped, but he's like, I gotta go.
Yeah. What did you think of his dreams and all that?
It was cool. I like that his dream stuff carries over. And this is like a constant thing for him.
Okay. So what's the point of the dreams, though? And what's with him, like, instead of, like, dreaming about being, like, with Summer, why is he dreaming about being Summer?
I don't know. I feel like it's, like, the thing at the start of the chapter where they're like, some people are more wolf-like than others. Like, I feel like he just has this really good connection with I don't know, like, I guess, like, call it magical if you will, but, like, I just feel like he has this, like, really good connection with, like, living creatures.
Okay. And how does that serve him, though? Like, how is that useful? What's the point of it?
Since he, like, can't, like, the wolves are, like, free to go, like, wherever they want, so it's kind of, like, away from him.
In the Godswood?
Yes, within the Godswood, but, like...
So he's, like, living his life through them?
Yeah, I think it's just a way for him to, like, access things that he can't.
Okay, alright. That's cool. Do you think he'll continue with the howling?
I don't think he'll continue with the howling specifically, but definitely with the dreams and, like, yeah, because then he can, like, experience more things and, like, see. Because even in, like, that initial dream, like, without that dream, he wouldn't have been able to see, like all of Westeros or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
that was a for sure, like...
Yeah.
Out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know how to explain it, but it was definitely more than just a dream.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not really much to, like...
talk about in this chapter.
Predict on. Yeah, like, what do you think's gonna happen with the Walders? Are they gonna get along? Like...
I mean, they're probably just gonna cause some trouble and be annoying as shit.
Okay. That seems like a fair prediction. What about Rickon? Is he gonna continue being buddy with them? Is his wolf gonna do something?
I think he'll definitely continue being friends with them. He'll be like, oh my gosh, y'all are fierce and just, like, don't care what you do, and I have all of this rage bottled up inside of me at everybody else, so we can just rage together.
Alright. Okay, that seems about right.
Like, there's not too many other kids there, so they're, like, his friends there. Right.
How do you think old Dad knows that the comet means dragons?
I don't know, man. I feel like
maybe she's just been around for so long that like she was around when the dragons were around.
Maybe that's like some sort of like story or something, or like something that's like actually
a legend.
Like actually like foretells dragons, like it's an actual thing. But then why wouldn't other people? Well, no, other people have picked up on it. Yeah, because the maester at
Dragonstone.
Yeah, he was like it can't mean that, you know. So maybe it's like this is like an actual legend thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Arya then.
Arya!
Or Ari, I should say.
Yeah. So they're kind of, they're traveling and and they're kind of like, as they travel, there's just more and more people on the King's Road.
Traveling the other direction.
Yeah, traveling the other direction. And it's just...
away from the war.
Yeah, and they're all like, we gotta get safely to the castle. Little known to them, that might not be a great idea anyway, but it's not their fault.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but in Tyrion's chapter, we learned that there's Littlefinger is taxing all the refugees coming into the city. Yeah. So these people are like, I'm gonna save my belongings and like seek shelter in the city. And little do they know, all their stuff will be taken from them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just... I mean, like, we've had it so many times in these books, but, like, it's just another thing of, like, these people are fighting, and it's just destructive for everybody else, and they're forced to, like, tear apart, like, their entire homes and, like, everything they've, like, ever done.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. And...
don't be Warren, people. Don't be Warren.
Yeah. And then they have a lot of, like, supplies and stuff, so they're kind of, like, they would be like targets right now if something were to go down on the King's Road. So
yeah, except there's like 30 of them, so people are a little wary of like taking on such a big group.
Yeah.
And then there's like a merchant dude who's like, just sell your stuff to me for basically nothing. You're gonna lose it anyway.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So there's like people exploiting the situation.
Yeah.
As always, the capitalists. Moving on.
Yeah. And then, like, I like this line that Arya says. Arya says, like, yet somehow it felt as though the world was holding its breath and the silence made her shiver. And I just thought that was just a good line. It just describes, like, the tension and, like, how messed up things are. And it's just, like, things aren't functioning as they're supposed to. Like, it just describes it well. I was like, yeah, world is in chaos.
Yeah, and as they're going along, they start finding graves. And it's like one day, a few more the other, and then like constantly just graves everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a rather grave situation.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So they finally get into an inn, and they're like, all right, shower, do your thing, do whatever you want.
And Arya's like, well, I can't bathe with all these dudes, they'll know my secret.
Yeah.
And then I have to say this, I hate that I do, but like she's thinking about the creatures living in her clothes and how some had come all the way from Flea Bottom with her. Oh
yeah.
I would like get somebody to like from the bath, get me a bucket. I'm just gonna like, you know,
I know, okay, but like think about it. She's so alone that like they're her companions. That's how pathetically alone she is.
Gross.
No, but it's like sad. Yes.
I know. But like this is where I'm like all the way with Sansa, who's like I bathe every day, or like however
I know
whatever equivalent of every day is.
I know, but it's just like she's at the point where she's been outdoors so long and she's gonna continue being outdoors so long that like doesn't even matter, you know? It's like I feel like at that point you just stop caring.
Alright. Yeah. I just was very eked out by that description.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but the innkeeper that they encounter is pretty nice, and it doesn't hold on. There's no pronouns specified for the innkeeper, so the innkeeper is just like, oh, y'all are Night's Watch? I had a brother once who got taken to the Night's Watch. A round of beer on me. So they're like, yay!
Yay! some drinks.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because Yorn's whole point is like the Night's Watch is like for all the realm. It doesn't take part in all the wars, you know. Everybody's warning him to turn around, not head towards the war.
Yeah.
And here's like an example of somebody actually like respecting the Night's Watch, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like maybe it can work, maybe it can't. Who knows? What do you think?
Like, what do you mean what can work?
Like they get to a part where there's a battle happening. Will they be left alone? Because they're part of the Night's Watch.
Gotcha. No, I don't think
will
so.
people respect that?
The people battling, I don't think will respect that, no. I think this is like a one-off type thing.
All right. Well, then, the innkeeper also is like, yeah, that's a bad idea. Yorn's like, well, since we're the Night's Watch, we don't have any ideas. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't know.
It's like we have to get there. Period. Done.
Yeah. And then, while they're sitting in this inn, there's talk of this not necessarily dire wolf. This wolf, she-wolf, very large, has a large pack, is not afraid of anything, and, you know, apparently stole a baby and ate it.
Apparently.
Yeah, so, like, there's just, like, all these... This is, like, a story corroborated by a bunch of different people. They're like, yes, in this area, around the God's Eye, things have been happening. And Arya's like, oh my gosh, where did I left Nymeria near the Trident. Is that near the God's Eye? I wish I had a map.
And I was like, I have a map!
And then, what did you find?
They're very close. So, Nymeria, where are you at?
So you think this is Nymeria and her pack of wolves?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. But what do you think about Nymeria eating babies?
I don't think Nymeria is eating babies. I think when you have tales like this, portions of it are true and portions of it aren't. I think the destructive thing is true, that makes sense, but like, the baby thing, I don't know, man.
What's a baby? A wolf's gotta eat.
I don't know. I guess, like, these wolves have, like, bitten people before. I guess I'm just so used to them from the Stark perspective that, like, being like, the wolf would eat a baby is, like, you know?
Right. I mean, all of them at Winterfell, they've confined the wolves because they're afraid they'll eat people, so...
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so Arya doesn't like the idea of the wolves eating babies, so she's like, wolves don't eat babies. And somebody's like, yeah, what do you know about it? And before she could be like, well, actually, my family are all wolves because we are the Starks.
Oh my gosh. And we don't eat babies.
Yeah, well, like, she's about to get into it. Yeah. We don't know what she's gonna say. Yoren's like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
Outside. Take a walk.
Yeah.
And Arya's like not happy about it. But she goes outside when she hears this friendly voice call out.
Yeah, so she goes over to the prisoners, and turns out the one calling out to her was Lorith. And he's the...
No, Lorith is where he's from. His name is Jaqen Hagar.
Jaqen. So Jaqen was like... She describes him as, like, friendly and handsome, so that's the Jaqen.
And he's got, like, on one side of his head is red hair, on the other is white, so that's interesting. Either he's, like, aging in a weird way, or that's a good dye job, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so there's 3 prisoners there, and so one of them doesn't have a nose, one of them, like, hisses, and their tongue is kind of like a stump, and then the third one is Jaqen.
Yeah.
And what's the dude? Oh, Rorge is the one who...
Without the nose.
Without the nose, and he's very...
His name kind of sounds like you're pinching your nose and saying, roar.
That's true, yes.
And then Biter, because he's got...
Yeah.
We don't know his name, but Jaqen just calls him Biter because he's got these, like, pointed teeth and no tongue.
Yes.
And all he does is bite.
Yeah. And so they're kind of, like, just kind of talking, and Jaqen's like, yo, get us some beers. just homie, I'll be friends with you, get me a beer. And then Rorge takes a different approach, and he's like, you better get me a fucking beer. And Arya's like, you better shut your fucking mouth. And then she decides to get into an altercation with these people. And
yeah, she like goes up to them just out of reach because they're like shackled to the wagon, and she like smacks Rorge, I think, across the face or something. And I was like, yeah, but also like,
not a good decision at all. It was fun to see, but for her, not a great decision. Mm-hmm. And then Bull comes in and he's like, you're stupid.
Gendry. He has a name.
Yes. I know that he's Gendry, but I just keep forgetting his name. But yeah, so Gendry's like, Arya, let's go. You're and then she's like, I'm not afraid of them. And he's like, then you're stupid. And I enjoyed that line. I was like, yeah.
Because I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid of them. Or that's not the right inflection. Hold on. Because even I'm afraid of them. Or they scare me. Oh gosh, I can't talk right now. Yeah. Okay, wait, redo. Arya's like, they don't scare me. And then Gendry's like, well, you're stupid then. They scare me. Okay, that was so much better.
Oh my gosh. And then Arya's still all riled up, and she's like, ugh, fight me, I just need to hit something. And then they're about to, have a fun practice fight, and they're like, yo, I'm faster than you, no, I'm stronger than you, I'm gonna win. And they're doing this whole thing. And then they see the gold cloaks. And Gendry's face is like, I'm scared. And Arya's like, they're here to get me. And Gendry's like, they're here to get me.
Well, no, Gendry doesn't think they're there to get him.
Sorry, yeah.
Gendry doesn't think that. He's just like, why would they want you?
Yeah. So then they go hide, because they're like, I don't want to deal with this. So then Yoren and one of the gold cloaks kind of have a conversation. Not necessarily well, they have a conversation, and Yoren's like, what's up? And they're like, yeah, we need this person. And here's the Queen's seal that says this is the person we're looking for. And he's like, yeah, sorry, they're a member of the Night's Watch, so you better skedaddle, because I can't give you them. And he's like, this is the Queen's seal. And then Yoren, like, kind of physically threatens him, and then he leaves.
Mm-hmm. But also, the gold cloaks, they're the city watch. Mm-hmm. They're way outside the city. They don't have any jurisdiction here.
Yeah.
So if Cersei did send them, why did she send them? And not, like, Lannister guards or something.
I guess she's like, oh, they'll get the job done better, because they're, like, the official city people.
Yeah,
or maybe they're, like... true. Or maybe they're, like, yeah, I think so. Or maybe...
They're, like, yeah?
No. Or maybe they're, like, sent to do, like, multiple things, and they're like, okay, you do this.
This is on their to-do list.
This is on their to-do list, yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, there was a moment here that I loved. So, at this point, before Yoren kind of grabs him and threatens him, they're kind of talking about it, and Yoren's like, no, and they're like, you have to, and that's kind of the conversation, and he's like, yeah, but I have all these people with me who can fight with me, and there's only a few of you. And so they all kind of, like, rally to fight, and so one person comes out, and they're, like, naked, and they drop everything except for the dagger, and they're like, I'm ready to fight. And that was just, like, the funniest
Everybody's
thing.
like, you gotta come through me. And even Hot Pie's, like, scrambling around to get, like, a big enough rock to throw. And Arya's like, oh my god, this dude hates me. Why would he risk himself for me? And, like, meanwhile, like, Hot Pie has no idea that this is, like, even possibly about Arya. He's just like, there's a fight, I'm going.
Yeah, definitely. And all of them are like, yeah, you want to take us on? So they're like, okay, let's not do this. So then...
Yeah, and the one of the gold cloak dudes is like, y'all don't know how to hold a sword, and Arya's like, I do, and he says, put the blade away, little girl, no one wants to hurt you. So now here, Arya's put in the position to claim that I'm not a girl, and it's like, she's just like, the gender ambiguity that she's gonna have after this series.
I know.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I just thought about it, but the Night's Watch is kind of like their, prison sentence. Mm-hmm. But what if a woman commits a crime?
I guess it's just, if it's bad enough, dungeon or, like, kill, I guess.
But what if it's, like, somewhere in between? What if it's like stole some bread?
I don't think they care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess they could just...
Okay, anyway. Yeah. I need to think about this at some later point.
Good question, though. That's...
Yeah. So anyway, Yoren's like, better run back home.
There's two things Yoren says in this chapter that I just really enjoyed. He was like, okay, so he like pressed his sword to the guy's like throat, and then he's like, neither's the one you get, lest you want me to see if your apple's ripe yet. I really enjoyed that insult.
Right. Oh, and speaking of which, Arya's, when she's like told to like, I'm not the girl, but I am the one you want, she's like about to give it all away.
I was literally
like,
so mad at her. I was literally like, shut the fucking hell up, Arya.
Yeah, but the Gold Cloak's like, what? No, we want that dude, yeah. Gendry. They just completely ignore that. And I was like, if there had been somebody smart, they would be like, oh yeah, you think so? Why would you want, why would we want you?
Exactly. But these people are just so oblivious that they're like, well, it can't be you. This is the one-track mind I'm thinking on.
Right. But, so this is when it's like, what? Gendry? What? Everybody's like shocked. Yeah. And Yoren sends the Gold Cloaks on their way and keeps one of their swords, because, you know, you can always use a sword. And as they're leaving, the head Gold Cloak dude's like, we'll go for now. And when I return, I'll have your head along with the bastards. And he's like, well, better men than you have tried.
And right at the end, he says, if he can get it off my shoulders, he's welcome to it. I was like, yes! Yeah. Yes!
That's a good line.
I like Yoren's lines in this chapter.
Yeah. So, like, when the Gold Cloaks leave, Yoren's like, get your shit together, we gotta leave. Like, they're gonna be back, and probably with reinforcements. And this is when Arya's like, why would the queen want you, to Gendry? And Gendry has no idea. Why do you think the queen wants Gendry?
Okay, so he said, like, next time I catch you, I believe I'll have your head to go with the bastard boys. Bastard boys. So he wants to kill Gendry, not just take him to the queen?
I suppose.
I guess, but...
why would Cersei want Gendry dead or alive?
Well, I guess first rationale is, okay, so Queen would, like, kill all of Robert's bastards, because she was like, nope. But that was probably just to keep anybody from finding out. So...
right, because he's, like, proof against...
yeah, exactly.
her kids being Robert's kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
The real-life proof is like, well, this is what happens when Robert has kids. It's just, like, reinforcing... like, just more evidence, I guess. But then at the same time, I'm like, is it really that important? You know? Like, is there another reason there that I'm missing? I don't know. And then also, like, okay, so the queen wants Gendry, but how does the queen even know about the existence of Gendry? If Varys was the one who gave Gendry away...
I mean, it's not like Ned was going around the market asking for him all in the open.
That's true. That's fair. Because... I don't know, just because, like, and also...
well, Littlefinger knows, and Littlefinger's on Cersei's side now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I keep forgetting that, like, people other than Varys know things. Right.
Yeah, Littlefinger, when Ned was like, oh, her kids are bastards, he was like, oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, that was funny.
Shocking.
Yeah, but I'm just like, so... I'm assuming Varys knew that the queen would want Gendry, so he was like, yo, Yoren, let's go. Let's take Gendry.
Right. Well, yeah, he does talk about a dude coming to him and being like,
oh,
here's
we know
some money.
that?
And somebody brought Gendry to Yoren. We do know that.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I forgot that we knew that. Oh yeah, because we found out in the first Arya chapter. I forgot that we knew that, so I was like, is that even true? Do we even know how we got here? I just forgot. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Yoren wasn't just, like, walking down the street and ran into Gendry. Like, Gendry was brought to him.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. So yeah, I think it's just, like, the proof thing, but still, I don't know.
Alright, so do you think the Gold Cloaks will come back?
Yes.
And will they succeed in getting either or both of them?
I don't think so. I think they'll either yeah, I think they will be fine. How? I'm not too sure, but I think they'll be fine.
Okay. What do you think they'll encounter on the road to the wall?
Battle. Lannisters. Rob.
And will there be like a happy ending? Like, will they make it through?
I think some of them will make it. I think some of them will die along the way or get killed. Not too sure about the specifics of that, but I don't see them all just like safely making it through.
Like,
I mean, I guess they
about
could.
Arya or Gendry?
Oh yeah, they'll be fine.
Die
They'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about Yoren?
Not too sure, but I think you'll be fine.
Okay, what about the 3 prisoners and the wagon?
I think the prisoners will die because they're imprisoned. So if if they need to make a run for it and they can't take everything with them, it's not like they're gonna be like, "Here, prisoner, let me unlock you," and then go.
Right, they'll be too busy.
So
okay,
yeah.
What about Hot Pie? Will he be fine?
He's annoying, so I think he will be fine.
That's your rationale. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember anybody else's name, so we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I have a question. Will Arya meet up with Nymeria again?
Oh my gosh, I really hope so. Not in this book.
Oh, wow. Thanks for crushing our dreams.
Yes, eventually, though. They'll be the dynamic duo
How
again.
eventually?
Eventually when Arya isn't, a criminal of the royal family, eventually when she can, go where she wants, she might be able to be like, what's Nymeria up to? Let's go find her.
I'm gonna go catch up with her. Okay, that's fair. Alright, will Arya ever take a bath again?
Yes. Sansa sure prays so.
Alright, that's all I can think about. Let's move on to your favorite, Jon.
So, we start the chapter, and it's dawn, and, Jon goes over to the library, and Sam's there, and he's been up all night, because he has to find maps for Commander Mormont, and he's like, I've been up all night, this is just all so fascinating. And we kind of see the difference here, Sam's, really into history, and, how things kind of, connect, and he's like, oh, this is all so cool, and, important, and I wish I don't die.
Wait, hold on. Let's talk about the library, though.
Yes.
It's underground, and there's thousands of books. And Jon's response is like, well, Winterfell has more than 100, so we're just as cool. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Also, Winterfell's library burned down.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know that, though.
And also, there's this weird detail where he's, wearing black gloves, and he's like, well, I'm wearing the one because my hand's burned. And I'm wearing the other because it feels stupid to wear just one. I don't know why that was included, but it's like George overthinking everything. He's like, well, people will sure be like, why is he wearing gloves? It's not like they're in the north.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah,
oh my gosh.
I just wish this library were above ground so there were some windows, but other than that, I am such a fan.
Yeah.
And John just does not appreciate.
Yeah, John
He's
doesn't
such
understand
a fucking jock.
That's so true, yeah.
He's like, sword fighting.
Yeah, literally. And he's like, oh, this information? This isn't useful at all. Who would use this? He just has no appreciation for
these anthropological curiosities.
Yes, he has 0% of any.
He's not an academic.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, and we okay, so Sam's explaining what some of these are. There's rare accounts of life beyond the wall. And there's scrolls and books from thousands of years ago and books that aren't even in the Citadel. How is everybody not just constantly obsessing about this library?
Yeah, it's crazy that nobody cares.
And all their books are like, because they have to be handwritten, they're all like withering away.
Yeah.
And once it's gone forever because you don't got the PDF of that.
Yeah.
So it's, and like, Sam's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could stay and just sort through everything. And John's like, well, they'll be here when we return. And I'm like, that is literally not true. These books are going to dust as you speak.
Yeah.
Like, they will not all be here when you return.
Yeah, exactly.
If you return, Oh, I just want somebody to like really dedicate, like, forget about armies. Get all your writing dudes, like, copying these books.
Yeah, but it's like, they don't,
value
yeah.
this the same
and
way.
like, if, like, when they were like, ugh, what do we do with Sam? And like, obviously Sam's the perfect person to do this, but like, if all of the things hadn't happened as they did, Sam would not be here right now doing the books, you know what I mean? So other people who are well suited to it, like, aren't, like, when people aren't good fighters,
it's very unlikely that they'll end up here.
They're not going to be like, oh, go to the library if you're not a good fighter.
They need to change.
Yeah.
And make it a priority. Yeah. Like, whoever can't write, that's who's the fighter, instead of like, whoever can't fight is the writer. Like, it needs to be the other way around.
Or they could just focus on everything and like, build up both things.
Such a waste of so much knowledge. It just hurts my soul. Okay, rant over. Maybe. We'll see.
And like, even when they take them to Mormont, he's like, oh, these are so old. Like, for the maps, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, and John has to be like, well, the rivers and the mountains are all still there. To like, be like, Sam just spent a whole night looking for these maps. Yeah. And like, this is all the guidance you have. Yeah. Like, you take what you can get,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh.
I'm just so frustrated with the fucking patriarchal society in this world. Okay. In every world. Everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Let's all move back to horticulture. Can somebody tell that I've been taking an anthropology class? I can.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Calm down. I'm like so riled up. I don't even know what I'm riled up about anymore.
Oh my gosh. So, anyway, they're like getting out of the library now, and they're like going up the steps or whatever, and John's like trying to kind of comfort Sam, because Sam's like, now that he's kind of thought about like after they had that conversation
he has
about
to go
like,
beyond the wall.
Yeah.
And he's not very happy about it, but somebody's got to be there for the ravens and the letters, so it's Sam.
And then after the conversation with Sam, John kind of is thinking about the same stuff. He's like, oh wait, yeah, like, this wall that I've always known as like the end of the world is going to be the beginning now, like, and they're all just getting tripped up. They're all just like, what is going on?
Yeah. And he also notices the comet once they resurface. We learn the Night's Watch's interpretation of the comet, which is Mormont's torch lighting his way.
Why is everything about you? Forest. Oh my gosh. These people need to get out of their freaking heads.
We are very egocentric.
Yes, very, very, very.
So, yeah, they're on their way, and John's noticing that it's, like, pretty empty, because people are either out seeking sex or gods, and John's like, I wonder which one's more helpful. Because he's like, well, I'm not interested in sex, and my gods are the old gods, and where I'm going, they're even more prominent, so, like, they'll be with me.
Yeah. He's like, I'm good. It's okay. And he sees, like, the new recruits who've just shown up, and he sees, like, the new...
He's like, these summer children. Meanwhile, he's been there for, like, a few months.
Exactly. Like, okay, buddy. And we meet the armorer again, the one who told him to stop making enemies.
And we learn that John has learned that Robb is now a king.
And everybody's
and John's like, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. Like, I think I'm a little bit jealous, but like, what can I do about it, you know?
Yeah.
And he's talking about it with Donald Noy, who's like, well, I've known some kings because he worked for Robert Baratheon and made his Warhammer. So he's like, well, Robert, he used to be the true steel until he stopped fighting, and then he went to rust.
Some men are like swords, made for fighting.
Hang them up, and they go to rust.
And this is where, once again, I was like, So maybe if we determined who led based off of their actual competency instead of just, like, their hierarchy, maybe this would, like, work better. I don't know. What a concept.
Yeah. And, Donald Noy is kind of giving his opinion of the Baratheon bros,
Yeah.
He's like, Robert was the true steel. Stannis is pure iron, black and hard and strong. Yes, but brittle. The way iron gets. He'll break before he bends.
Very true.
And from what we've seen of him in, like, one prologue, that seems true.
No compromise or sacrifice in that man, like, at all. He's like, no, things have to work like this, and if they don't, well, whatever.
Yeah. But do you think he has the potential to potentially change?
No. Not to be the pessimist, but this man seems too far gone.
Alright. And then there's Renly. He's copper, bright and shiny. Pretty to look at, but not worth all that much in the end.
That was funny.
Do you think that's true?
That also feels true, because he's very lavish and like, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm doing this thing. Look at my Rainbow Kingsguard, Like, and
Rainbow Guard.
Right,
He's not King's part isn't even in there.
Right. So, and we haven't really seen much of his actual competence,
but, like,
so
to be like, true steel, do you have to also be boring? Like, can't you be fun and a great leader?
You can, but I just feel like he's just so focused on that.
Let me present Jacinda Ardern.
Like,
you know who that is?
Yeah, the PM of
the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
Yeah.
I'm just like such a fan. If you ever hear this, if anybody ever knows her, I just want to say you're great, and I want to move to New Zealand.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
I know, every time I see something that she does, I'm like, I wish we did that.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, like, you definitely can, but I just mean, like, that's his focus. You know what I mean? He's so, like, he's so focused on the presentation, and I guess I don't know him too well, but it just seems that he's so focused on that I don't know how good he would be, like, for real.
Right. Do you think we'll get to know more about him?
I think so. We need someone in his perspective. We don't have anybody yet.
Okay.
I want a Renly chapter of him just being like, ugh, my hair didn't look good at court today, and it was so upsetting.
Okay, anyway, so Jon, like, is thinking about what kind of metal Robb would be, but he doesn't want to bring it up with Donald Noy because, they might not share loyalties like that. And that's an interesting balance that people in the Night's Watch have to strike, because they're like, we're bros, but also, my bro over there. He's my bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Not your bro over there. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's like they kind of have to put aside Yeah,
they just don't talk about it because, like, it's hard to, actually forget your family and your loyalties from your life,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Donald Noy's like, all right, take care, bring back that uncle of yours. And Jon's like, we will. And I'm like, you won't.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
So then we finally get to Mormont, and Sam's like, oh my gosh, I gotta climb more stairs, which I totally feel. And like, Jon's like, well, at least we won't have to climb any stairs in the woods. We'll just have to climb a few mountains, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm dying. All right, you talk.
Okay.
Snow!
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so this bird says things that have just been said. So I'm like, why is this bird saying snow? Like, were they talking about snow?
But maybe, like, since, like, Jon Snow is the squire now, he's around enough that, like, he associates the term snow with seeing Jon.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but he has said, like, he said burn.
Yeah.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Interesting. Anyway, so he goes in, and there's someone there's someone there named Thorin Smallwood, and Thorin Smallwood.
Get it? He's got a Smallwood.
Oh my gosh!
George R. Martin does this too often. There's gonna be some very phallic references coming up.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. And we learned that he was like Alistair Thorne's henchman, so he doesn't like Jon.
Right, of course.
And he's terrible, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's like, yo, I should be the first ranger. You should just stay here.
And you should stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Why, I am the commander, so I decide who should be first ranger. You can sit your ass back down.
Yeah, he's like, as far as I remember, I'm the Lord Commander, so, you know, no, he says, if you are ever Lord Commander, you may do as you please, but it seems to me that I have not died yet. So, he's like, yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I want to be first ranger because Ben Stark's dead. And Mormont's like, well, we don't know that for a fact. And if we do eventually, it'll be me who names his successor, not you.
Exactly. And then he leaves, and Mormont's like, ugh, this bitch has the audacity to call me old. And then they're just kind of talking, and this is when Mormont's like, ugh, these are the maps? And he kind of just disregards them.
Yeah, and, like, he's like, Sam, go get them ravens. And, like, basically Sam's so, like, relieved to not have to be in his company anymore because he's just so nervous. I was like, why? Because Sam is, like, stammering.
Yeah.
He can't talk in complete sentences. He's that nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? But then I was like, oh, this is kind of like talking to, like, the CEO of your company. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I work in a nonprofit organization, and, like, our executive director is just always around. And it's like, at my workplace, the atmosphere is just so casual that I can't really imagine where it would be so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's, like, a mix of Sam's personality and the times and the organization. Anyway, Sam leaves. He's relieved. Everybody in the room is relieved. And Mormont's like, you know, I was thinking about sending that kid to talk to Renly, but I don't know. He doesn't seem lordly or whatever. And instead, I'm gonna send Sir Arnold, whose mother was one of the Green Apple Fossowings.
Green Apple! Oh my gosh, the one we like.
No, I mean, we kind of, like, get the reference, you know?
Yeah.
So, Mormont's basically, he sent Alistair to Joffrey with the withered hand to try to be like, send us money and troops and things. And he's sending this dude to Renly. I wonder who he'll send to Robb or Stannis. And yeah, he's just trying to do what he can, you know? He's like, the Night's Watch is not proud. We'll take what we can get.
Yeah, because we need it and we're protecting y'all's asses, so you better help us.
Yeah. But people are, like, too caught up in their own shit. They don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then, you know, they're just talking, and somehow Maester Aemon comes up. You know, he's like, Maester Aemon, he knows what he's about. And he's like, I hope to gods that we'll keep him for another 20 years. And he'll live to be 150 or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we learn Maester Aemon's backstory. Also the story of the people we met in the Hedge Knight.
I'm just thinking, if I hadn't read that, I would be so lost after this little blurb.
Yeah,
I would have been
like, cool?
I would have been like, what are they saying? Who is this?
Yeah, but like having read it, it's
good.
So
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's that person. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk it through. So there's Daeron Targaryen, who was, man, what was his name? The dude that dies in the Hedge Knight.
Baelor?
Baelor's dad, yeah. So he married a Dornish princess, had 4 sons. We know that. And there's a rumor that Prince Aemon, the Dragon Knight, for whom Aemon the Maester is named, there's a rumor that he was actually Darien's father and not Aegon the Unworthy.
Wait, what?
Like, okay, so, gosh, Baelor. You know Baelor, right? Baelor's dad, Darren, not Darien. Darren. I don't know how to say any of these names. Darren. Okay, so his dad supposedly is King Aegon IV, the Unworthy. But there is a rumor that his mom actually had sex with Prince Aemon, who was not King Aegon. And that he's the son of Prince Aemon and not Aegon.
Oh.
Yeah, like,
so
that's the rumor.
Oh, okay, right.
Prince Aemon was Aegon's brother.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, not Egg and Maester Aemon, the other.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Why?
These names, man.
Get a name, dude.
Yeah.
But okay, so from then there was Darren, who had a son, heir apparent, slain in a tourney mishap. We know that about that one. And then his sons died in the spring sickness. So this is like the young prince and the even younger prince, like those dudes. And then Aerys died without having kids. Gosh, what is this? This is such a mess. But this is Aerys the First, not the second, who was the Mad King.
Oh my.
And then Aemon was sent to the Citadel, and eventually Aemon's dad, Maekar, who you've met in the story, becomes king. Before he even dies, his oldest son, the dude that died of an STI, what was his name? Darren, another Darren, of course. So Maekar's son, Darren, the eldest, the dude who was always drinking in the story, he died of an STI.
Right.
And then Arian, the terrible dude we met, Arian the Monstrous, he's known as, the prince who thought he was a dragon. And now, this is where you learn how he died. He named himself Arian Brightflame. One night, in his cups, he drank a jar of wildfire after telling his friends it would transform him into a dragon. But the gods were kind, and it transformed him into a corpse.
He was so delusional that he really said, I'm just gonna drink fire.
Yeah, his, death is very satisfying.
Yes, definitely. But one thing that I loved from here
now
was
you know what happened to them.
Right. The thing that I liked from here was that, Maekar was like, okay, cool, all my sons are gonna be, on my council now. And Aemon was like, I should not be there.
I don't want to, usurp the Grand Maester's place, so I'm not gonna do that. But eventually Maekar also dies, and it's a decision between Arian, the crazies, baby, Prince Darien's daughter, or Aegon the Fifth, Egg. And they eventually choose Egg, but before they do, they offer the kingship to Aemon. And Aemon's like, yeah, actually, never mind. I don't think so. And just to be sure that nobody, tries to use him against Egg, he takes the black and joins the Night's Watch.
Man, so he wasn't... That's crazy that, he wasn't even sentenced. He was just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He chose it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we had Aegon the Fifth of his name, Aegon the Unlikely, born the fourth son of a fourth son.
Was he good? Do we like him, or was he bad?
Egg?
Yeah.
We like Egg.
No, you know how they're all he's the cruel one, he's the blank one, was Egg, did they like Egg?
No, he's like, the only thing, if he were terrible, he would be known as Aegon the Terrible. He's known as Aegon the Unlikely, so
Okay.
he was either good or not too bad.
Okay,
You know?
gotcha.
Yeah. So he doesn't fall with the Mad Kings of the day.
Yes.
Although the Mad King was his grandson, so...
Oh my.
Yeah, anyway, this is messed up. So, all these dudes died, leading to Aemon rejecting his kingship and then Egg becoming king. That's the moral of the story.
Yes, that's crazy.
Oh.
And so Mormont's like, okay, so the point, Maester Aemon had to sit and, like, watch all these people die, and then he, like, rejected being king and watched, like, every single family member of his pass away.
Just also, like, the thing that he has in common with Jon is that they both had brothers who were kings.
Yeah.
Who were kings, you know?
Yeah.
So, they face a similar choice.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, buddy, you've already tried to run away once. Are we gonna have this problem again, or are you good? Can you deal with this? And he's like, I can do it.
Yeah, the way, like, Mormont places is like, well, if you say that none of this troubles you, I'll name you a liar. And Jon's like, yeah, what if it does trouble me? What will I do? I'll be troubled and keep my vows.
Yes, he will.
These were short chapters, even though we spent, like, hours babbling, but, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. What? I don't know. I just lost all words. Ow! Okay, so is Jon gonna be troubled and keep his vows?
Yes. I think he's at a point where he's like, Rob's doing his own mission, I have a mission. You know what I mean? I feel like before it was just like, he, like, wanted to amount to something, but he just felt like he wasn't gonna be able to do anything.
Predictions. Will Sam be okay out on that range-in?
Sam will be okay. I think he's gonna be terrified to his core, but he will be alive.
Okay, that's good. Will they find Benjen?
Didn't I say they were gonna, like, find him as a white or something?
Right, yeah, I think that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that still counts as finding him.
That's true.
Any other predictions? Can you think, was there anything else? Is somebody gonna get around to recataloging those books and, like... No. You're right. And I just... It hurts my soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I predict... So I feel like Bran and Osha and Hodor are gonna plan a getaway.
Getaway?
Like,
where?
I don't know. I just feel like Bran's gonna be like, let's go do something. And Osha's gonna be like, yeah, gods are calling. I just feel like, or even if they don't, like, I don't know the specifics, but I feel like they're gonna, like, team up in some way and, like, go do something.
Your use of the term getaway was like, they're gonna find a cabin in the woods and spend a nice day at the lake.
Sorry, I meant, like, no, I used the wrong word, I think. Getaway is not what I was trying to say. I just meant, like, they're gonna, like, get together and do something.
Okay. In Winterfell? Around Winterfell?
Yeah, in and around. Yeah. Like, they're not about to, like, go to the Wall or to the King's Road, you know?
Okay. Though, sometimes your words make little sense. Same with me. Like, as do mine, but... Okay. Anything else you have about these chapters specifically?
I think that's it.
All right. So next time we will be reading 2 chapters.
Wow.
So we'll be reading chapters 7 and 8. Chapter 7.
I'm still holding out for that Rob chapter. Doesn't look like it's coming, but Rob and Daenerys.
All right. Chapter 7 is Catelyn.
Ugh. Oh my gosh.
That's basically a Rob chapter.
No.
All right. What will we see from Catelyn?
Oh, what did they do? We haven't seen Catelyn in a while.
They arrived at a river run, and she was like, "Look, Dad, I'm back."
Oh yeah.
Oh, and they were like, "King in the North, King in the North." That thing happened.
I think she'll be like with Rob, and they'll be like overseeing like the battles and shit, and they'll be like this is what's going on. And we'll find out more about, like,
Okay.
the battles that have happened since.
All right. Chapter 8 is Tyrion. What? Oh gosh, I love this chapter. Sorry, what are we gonna see from Tyrion?
Tyrion's gonna live his best life. Just kidding. So, this was when he was like, I'm gonna find out how to leverage what we have to get Jaime back, right?
Yeah, that was what he told Cersei.
Right.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna work with you to get Jaime back.
Right. So I think he'll just, like, he'll be like, he'll come up with a plan to, like, trick the Starks and be like, hey, Starks, do this.
Okay. All right. Well, those are the 2 chapters.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I have an email to read.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Here it is. Okay. So we got this email a few weeks ago. We just haven't recorded in the meantime.
Right.
So the email is from Ola, and we received another email from Ola a little while ago. And this time he specified his pronouns, which are he, him. Thank you, Ola. We really appreciate that. Ola says, Dear Nav and Harmouth, yesterday I finished the wrap-up episode, so I'm finally up to date and ready to start reading A Clash of Kings with you. Up until now, I've mostly been on Nav's side, knowing what is going to happen, enjoying Harmouth's predictions, and looking forward to hearing her reactions on the reveals and the turn of the events. Of course, the 3 big plot twists were the discovery of it was Jaime's, Ned's execution, and finally the hatching of the dragons in the last chapter. And I must say that you were quite close to predicting these long before they happened, if not spot on.
I don't think so. I don't think I predicted anything in the last book. I mean, like, never mind. Wait, no. Why am I ruining the listeners? No.
Yeah, no, you did. You just don't remember.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I did predict it. Yes.
All right. So, especially the mystery of Jon Arryn's death was hard for you to pinpoint. Several times I chuckled when you were guessing potential solutions, and you almost got it, but then you landed on the wrong conclusion. I see that all the clues were there, but so cleverly hidden, and it was as hard for you to solve the case as it was for both Ned and me. So, Ola sympathizes with your
struggles,
troubles, predicaments.
Yes.
Yeah, struggles. That's a good word.
Predicaments, because they're about predictions.
Yeah, I think that's I combined a couple words there.
Oh
I should call them predicaments. Oh my gosh, I need to write this down.
Yes.
Hold on. Predicaments. Okay.
Yes.
That's a word now.
Yeah.
So all in all, it has been very enjoyable. Some things are making me curious. Are you always situated in different places, or do you sit together sometimes? Well, for recording, we are pretty much in separate places.
We've never recorded together because it probably wouldn't work out too well anyway.
Yeah, I don't think how I don't like even on Zoom we're like we can barely get on topic. If we were in person,
yeah,
I don't know how that would go.
we see each other, but we don't record together.
Yeah. And do you live near to each other? Yes, we do. We live like 15 minutes away from each other. We haven't seen each other as much these last, COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Ola's next question, which is, how is COVID affecting you? And why is Harmouth yawning so often? Doesn't she get enough sleep?
Oh my!
That is none of my concern, and you don't have to answer those questions. But I will anyway. It's true. Harmouth does not get enough sleep.
Guys, I sleep like 5 to 6 hours depending on the night, so...
Oh my gosh. This past week, I've been sleeping a consistent 9 to 10 hours every night. And still I'm like, I need more.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
It's because I prioritize sleep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely don't do that.
Okay, so Ola continues. In one of your last episodes, you mentioned having read Watchmen. Did you make a podcast of that too?
Oh!
So, Ola, we did read Watchmen. We watched the HBO show Watchmen, and we did like a practice podcast of it. We'd like practiced recording basically with it, and it was fun, but not something you would
Yeah.
want to
Like,
listen
we,
to.
at that point, we never recorded anything before, so we, like, didn't know how to sit. We didn't know how to do
recorded
anything.
on Skype. What the hell was Skype? Anyway.
And, like, and we didn't have any equipment.
And I don't even have the recordings anymore.
What? Did you delete them?
No, I probably, like, they're probably in my Skype account, but, like,
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know how to open up my Skype account. I don't remember my password.
I was wishing we still had them, and then, like, years down the line, we could be like, this is where we started.
They were terrible. What are you talking
but that's
about?
the point. It's like years down the line, it would be like, wow, you know?
Alright, okay, so when Harmith has some time, I'll send them to her and she'll edit
No,
and
we
we'll
won't
post them, okay?
We won't edit them. We'll just release them.
As they are.
No, not as they are, but, like, we won't refine them, you know what I mean? Like, we'll edit, like, the first, like, if I take a 5-minute water break, we'll edit that out, but, like...
Okay, whatever, this is besides the point. Basically, like, we kinda did a podcast on that, but, like, we didn't even do one on the last episode, because we were like, I don't feel like it, do you remember?
Yeah. And that, by then, we'd already, because we got to, like, the second last episode, and we were like, hey, why don't we start Game of Thrones before we finish this? And then we never got back to it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it was a bit of a mess, but it was a practice run. Funny how you caught that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Ola, again, so now I'm looking forward to reading The Hedge Knight and A Clash of Kings together with you. From now on, I will be in the same situation as Harmith, knowing absolutely nothing.
Really?
And I'm very excited.
Oh my god.
When's the next episode coming? So at this point, I'd, like, sent Ola an email, like, it's gonna be out there sometime soon. Just keep an eye out. And since then, we've released a couple episodes, so I hope that's cool. And, yeah, thank you, Ola. This was a great email.
Thank you so much. You're so observant. All these, like, random things that you're noticing.
All the yawns.
Okay, whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. But, yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, also, in terms of the yawns, I should mention that Harmith and I are, like, I am such an early bird, and Harmith is such a night owl, that one of us is always tired whenever we record.
Yeah.
So that might also be,
and also,
you know,
one of us is always up at every hour of the day. Because you get up really
Pretty
early,
much,
and
yeah.
I sleep really late.
Well, I don't know if 6 is really early.
6 is really early for me.
Okay. Well, 1 is very late for me, and you're often up until, like, 4, so...
Yeah, 1 is nothing.
I think there's, like, a time between, like, 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. when both of us are asleep.
That's true. But when you went through your phase of,
Okay.
like, waking up at 5 a.m., I feel like at that point we were all up at all hours.
It would be like, you would send me a text on your way to bed, and I would, like, answer it as I got up.
Exactly.
Alright, so many tangents. Thank you for your email, Ola. We love hearing from you guys. Send us more emails.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
No, emails are so fun. Like, every time someone emails, it just makes the podcast episode so much better. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, people are listening. So do it. Do it right now. As you're listening to this, start composing an email.
Yeah. Email us at popculturesymposium@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at popculturesymposium, on which I post stories with updates about episodes. So do that. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.